Ditir Uvacha. Beautiful Diti said, Esha, all these, Mam, unto me, Tvatkrite, for you, Vidvan, O learned one, Kama, Cupid, Atta Sarasana, taking his arrows, Dunoti, distresses, Dinam, poor me, Vikramya, attacking, Rambam, banana tree, Eva, like, Matamgaja, mad elephant. Translation. In that place, the beautiful Diti expressed her desire. O learned one, Cupid is taking his arrows and distressing me forcibly as a mad elephant troubles a banana tree. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Beautiful Diti, seeing her husband absorbed in trance, began to speak loudly, not attempting to attract him by bodily expressions. She frankly said that her whole body was distressed by sex desire because of her husband's presence, just as a banana tree is troubled by a mad elephant. It was not natural for her to agitate her husband when he was in trance, but she could not control her strong sexual appetite. Her sex desire was like a mad elephant, and therefore it was the prime duty of her husband to give her all protection by fulfilling her desire. Om Jnana Timirandasya Janandana Shalakaya Chakshurliminam Nena Tasmai Shri Grave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kajamayam Vidati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagujatam Sagana Raganatan Vitam Dam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutnam Vijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Surito Pangor Mama Mandar Matergati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohana Dibyad Rindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Shilagovinda Devo Prestalabi Savyamano Smarami Srimad Rasa Rasarambi Bamsi Bhattatasditaha Karshan Venu Svanar Gopir Gopinatha Sriestuna Vanchakalpatarubhyas cha kripa sandubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Sarvati Deve Gora Vani Pacharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastkita Deshatarane Hare Krishna Yutir Uvacha. Isha mam tvatkrite vidvan kama ata sarasanaha dunoti dina vikramya rambam eva matangajaha. No sound in the kitchen, is that what this is? What is the...
Yeah, it was messed up. It's fixed.
Huh?
It's fixed now.
Fixing or no
Yeah,
fixing?
Can you talk? Is it okay to...
Okay, bring down the volume. This has been stripped, so it spins around. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Good.
You just need to pull it up a little bit.
Hare Krishna. I don't want the thing right in front of my face. You like an ice cream cone? So, in Chandrasekhar Maharaj, on his the last class that he gave, and he made a posting on the YouTube channel and his own. He was saying how this whole chapter is describing deities. Unlicensed or unregulated or improper time sex desire. So on surface, what can you really say about this? But just below the surface of what's being described here, there's very great meaning and, let's say, interest to the contemplative, introspective devotee who's striving with his or her all might to achieve the ultimate goal of life. And that ultimate goal of life is service to the supreme, beautiful, divine couple, Shri Shri Radha Govinda, who perform their Astakali Leela, their eightfold daily pastimes. Where is that intelligent person who will not serve this divine couple in Sri Vrindavan, Sri Radhakund, like that? That's Upadeshamrita, verse 10, I believe. So, we hear how the neophyte or the unqualified person should not hear about the intimate conjugal pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His Supreme Consort, Her Supreme Majesty, Srimati Radharani. Yet at the same time, that is the goal, and we must keep in mind what the goal is, just like at the beginning of any journey, the destination is assigned. You know, you're like in a travel log or, you know, whatever advertisement. This is what this place is like, and it's so wonderful, and this is why you should come here. Say if you're gonna go to San Francisco, you know, it's a long way to go. You know, how are you gonna get there? You know, so. In the 60s, they had a song, if you're going to San Francisco, make sure you wear flowers in your hair, because you're going to meet so many beautiful people there. Wow. As soon as the media got involved and the hippie movement and everything, devotees like Yamuna in particular, she was living there in the Bay Area from 1962. And then, basically, after Prabhupada landed in January, and he was there for a month and a half, and by the time they put on the Rath Yatra, some 3 or 4 months later, it all just went downhill. after that. Just see the timing of how Krishna sent Prabhupada at the peak of that, before the thing, everything in the material world for a material purpose based on material motivation comes up, and it seems like, wow, and everybody wants to jump on. Then it peaks, and as fast or even faster than it rose up, it just degrades and collapses, becomes commercialized. But that is not the case with attraction to the eternal pastimes of the Lord. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pradipadam Purnatmitis Vardhanam, ever increasing ocean of transcendental bliss. Prabhupada describes that each feature of enjoyment is newer and more intense between the devotee and the Lord. Why was Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami unanimously elected and heralded and practically lovingly forced to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita against his deep natural humility? Narottam Das Thakur, in describing Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the thoughts of the Vaishnavas, their feelings have been drowned in the transcendental emotions written in Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Sri Govinda Lilamrita and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Govinda Lilamrita was first. Those of you who have read throughout the Chaitanya Charitamrita, particularly in the Antya Lila, describing the highest manifestation of Lord Chaitanya's teachings, his teachings of service to Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani and her feelings of intense separation. Srila Bhakti from Krishna when he left Vrindavan and to reside in Mathura briefly, and then Dwarka. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, he confirms, to serve the residents of Vrindavan who felt profound separation from Krishna, to serve them. How would one serve someone who's feeling profound separation from their beloved? It's not just getting a glass of water or cleaning the room, but one has to be. Just like Sri Ramananda Roy, Lord Chaitanya was feeling a very deep lamentation, and Ramananda Roy, along with Swarup Damodar, just see how Lalita Vishaka become, in this pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, the supreme sannyasi, Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Ramananda Roy, who is externally considered a pounds, shillings, and pence person, a governor, and how the two combined together with great intelligence, not just, MIT or Harvard University intelligence, but transcendental intelligence to select the proper hearing and chanting for the Lord's pleasure. They would choose appropriate verses to augment the Lord's mood, or if the Lord was feeling such intense separation, and actually, if you read the 20th chapter of the Antya Lila, which is the Shishastakam, which is very nice, we have the 8 verses, but Lord Chaitanya actually spoke maybe 3 or 4 corresponding verses around each one of the 8, and that makes for a very beautiful, readable, flowing chapter. But in the chapter summary in the beginning, it says, after hinting of the Lord's departure, was it the Lord Chaitanya disappeared simultaneously in 3 places, in the Jagannath temple, on the ocean at Jagannath Puri, and into Tota Gopinath. I read that somewhere just recently, but we understand that he disappeared into the Tota Gopinath temple. And how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami expresses it, he could not sustain his body and mind. So they would describe verses of the divine couple's union and reuniting. Beginning of Govinda Lilamrita and such exalted literatures on par with Govinda Lilamrita, like Krishna Bhavanamrita Mahakavya by the great Mahabhagavat Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Why is Brahma Muhurta so important? Because this is the end of the night pastimes. The divine couple have been in union throughout the night, and only the most intimate associates, the Manjari maidservants of the particular most confidential gopis, Yuteshvaris, group leaders, are allowed to witness and to assist. And it is necessary that the divine couple part each other's company because dawn is coming. And in Parakya that means it's unlawful love, so to speak, compared with mundane morality, of which today there isn't any. But we won't get into that. So the feelings that Krishna and Radharani are experiencing for each other, the love they feel for each other, is so deep and so profound that upon the quote-unquote forcible separation, they have to go to their respective homes and places, that as every step as they go their separate directions, their love is just increasing more and more. So on the transcendental platform between Krishna and his devotees, intense feelings of separation guarantee a even more glorious and meaningful reunion. One of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's last statements was, "Love and rupture." Narottam Das Thakur lived by this principle. This is what we should live by too. Rupture means separation. And how great is that seemingly innocent, youthful love of Krishna and Srimati Radharani in Goloka Vrindavan. By that love, this entire cosmic manifestation, all realms in the spiritual world, all Vaikunthas, and everything in the 14 planetary systems, this material world, is based on that love, whether in reality or in perversion. All natural phenomena, all that is glorious and beautiful, spring from but a spark of my splendor. So therefore, the qualified servants of the divine couple from the spiritual world, or going to the spiritual world, their activities performed in this world, deeply absorbed in serving that love, is what is perceived to be on the highest stage of renunciation or detachment from the materialistic way of life. But not just simple renunciation, which can tend to be impersonal or non-emphatic or just plain discourteous to other people. But quite to the contrary, such a person becomes most fit to inspire and rekindle and re-show to forgetful souls in this world the entrance in the path to the same perfection that they are on. And that is the glory of Srila Prabhupada's movement, that this Krishna consciousness movement, this one right here that he created and that we're in, is meant to bestow this mercy. Prabhupada said every member of this Krishna consciousness movement must take very seriously their responsibility to distribute nectarian love of Godhead, Braja Prema Bhakti, via the medium of the Sankirtan movement, which is primarily based on distributing the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. the holy names of the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the supreme spiritual meditation. Do not raise any objection to this or try to present any other evidence to confirm any other view, Narottam Das Thakur says. And my commentary on that, and I think it's an agreeable statement I'm about to make, because if you do so or try to do so, you will simply attract utter disgrace upon yourself, which is not something that you would want. So, back down here on Earth planet and in this chapter, what can we say? So, it's very interesting how Prabhupada concludes the purport here, and that's in her own words, I'm being attacked by this uncontrollable desire, just like a mad elephant troubles a banana tree. You know, an elephant, a banana tree, nice banana leaves, eat the bananas, you know, rip the thing to pieces, you know. So, therefore, it was the prime duty of her husband to give her all protection by fulfilling her desire. But it was desire in, let's say, proportion or quantity, and at the wrong time. So material desire, quantity and frequency, you don't do correctly, or the timing, all finished. But the chanting of Hare Krishna, there are no hard and fast rules. There's no consideration of proper time, proper place, proper candidate, who should I do it with or have it with. No consideration. So we'll see in the next verse 11 that the overall desire, and certainly in a personality like Diti, who is one of the first progenitoresses, progenitor is male, progenitoress is female, something like that. She wanted to have sons. And we see at the end of the chapter where Kasyapa Muni gives her a scorecard on this whole what should we call it, a performance, goings on. Here's your scorecard, how it all came out, you know. And we'll see, he's telling her this is not a good time. Lord Shiva with his ghosts and ghouls are coming, and they will notice this improper timing and bad position of your mental state, and will cause some very bad person to take birth as your son. And so, because of your minds being polluted, because of defilement of the particular time, because of your negligence of my directions, and because of your being apathetic to the demigods, everything was inauspicious. Of course, this sets the stage for the two greatest demons in the universe to appear, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. O haughty one, you will have two contemptuous sons born of your condemned womb. Unlucky woman, they will cause constant lamentation on all the three worlds. So here's this is the extreme heavy part. They will kill poor, faultless living entities, torture women, and enrage the great souls. At that time, the Lord of the universe, the personality of Godhead, who is the well-wisher of all living entities, will descend and kill them, just as Indra smashes the mountains with his thunderbolts. She replies, Diti, it is very good that my sons will be magnanimously killed by the arms of the personality of Godhead with the Sudarshan weapon. O my husband, may they never be killed by the wrath of the Brahman devotees. So we didn't read, but you'll see how she was offering prayers of contrition, and she was praying to Lord Shiva for forgiveness. Because of your lamentation, penitence, and proper deliberation, and also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons, Prahlad Maharaj, of your son Hiranyakashipu, will be an approved devotee of the Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In order to follow in his footsteps, saintly persons will try to emulate his character by practicing freedom from animosity, just as the purifying processes rectify gold of inferior quality. Everyone will be pleased with him because the personality of Godhead, the supreme controller of the universe, is always satisfied with a devotee who does not wish for anything beyond him. And several other verses glorifying Prahlad Maharaj. Your grandson will be able to see inside and outside the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose wife is the beautiful goddess of fortune. The Lord can assume the form desired by the devotee, and his face is always beautifully decorated with earrings. And the chapter ends, hearing that her grandson would be a great devotee and that her sons would be killed by Krishna, Diti was highly pleased in mind. So, along the way, in the course of our sojourn through this life, taking into account our psychophysical nature, our body, our mind, our particular situation. Should we be married? Should we not be married? Under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada and his disciplic succession coming from him, by following their directions, we can be assured of safety and protection. Yet, simultaneously, we have to have always strongly planted in mind what is the goal and our ultimate issue, that is the meaning of everything. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Dharma, that sex life according to religious principles, that I am. So, bringing devotees into this world as your so-called children. The wife should think of her husband as a manifestation of the Lord, and the devotee, he should think of his wife as a manifestation of the goddess of fortune, and not to be exploited. And there's a very good example in the fatherhood and sonhood of Gaur Mohan Dey and Srila Prabhupada, Abhay Charan, who we named as Abhay Charan. To my father, Gaur Mohan Dey, a pure devotee of Krishna, he raised me as a Krishna-conscious child He gave me Jagannath Rath as my childhood play. He was kind to me, and how is it exactly said? And what I learned from him was solidified later by my spiritual master, the Eternal Father. Whereas his mother wanted to be more strict, and okay, you're going to sleep. Puffed rice, that's what you're going to get. No, I want kachoris. No, you're going to get puffed rice. And Guru Mohanday, no, you must make, and, ordered Rajani, his mother, yes, you must give him. He has asked for it. So there's an indication that he knew who Srila Prabhupada was to become. And of course, keep in mind, the horoscope on September 1st, 1896, it astounded the whole family. You could read that in Lilamrita. At the age of 70, this child will cross the ocean, become a great exponent of religion, and open 108 temples. So that is the ambition of every parent, and especially the mother, to have a son who will be a great servant to the personality of Godhead. That is very wonderful devotional service to facilitate that. Like Srimati Bhagavata Devi, the glorious wife of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, she brought forth Bimala Prasad in her womb. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And even within the womb, he had umbilical cord wrapped around his neck like a Brahmin thread. She's the district magistrate's wife. Their house is still there on Grand Road on the main Rath Yatra procession route. July, he's born in early March, 4 months, or even younger, 3.5-month-old baby. The cart stopped in front of their house. Mysteriously, miraculously, wouldn't move. She brought Bimala Prasad out, and instantly the garland of Jagannath came down. Everyone could understand. So, of course, Diti is instrumental in the pastimes here, because it was the Lord wanted a good fight. Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. So Jai and Vijay come down to facilitate that. And also ultimately it sets the stage for the appearance of the great Mahabhagavat Prahlad Maharaj. And from him came Bali Maharaj, another great, one of the Mahajans. So with the Lord's one action, so many different things are happening. So similarly, we should be very, very reserved and observant as we're developing our perceptorial abilities throughout our life, to not make any hasty decisions or snap judgments, particularly in terms of analyzing other devotees, especially those with more experience than us, as to what is their actual motivation or intention. I mean, if there's something that's clearly disturbing on one level or another, or put into question, and that should be dealt with. But Vaishnava Kriya Mudra, one is very difficult to understand the mind and heart of a Vaishnava. So controlling sex desire and following all the four regular principles is extremely important. Certainly, and of course, to keep one from being in danger of falling down from the human form of life because of developing animal tendencies. We see how we we're following the regular principles, and we have Shishi Radha Govinda as our ultimate Istadeva and goal, and how we are able to control. We're living on it. We're simultaneously in this world, but at the same time, like Theodore Roosevelt, he had his eyes on the stars and his feet on the ground. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, he was described like that at the incorporation of ISKCON and Leelamrita. It wasn't just an old curiosity shop. It was a sacred place of pilgrimage dedicated to the personality of Godhead. It was a transcendental haven where an army of devotees could issue forth and chant the names of God in all the streets and cities of the world. Because actually it did, right? It's at 26 Second Avenue, and then some went to San Francisco, and then others went to Seattle and Los Angeles and Santa Fe and Buffalo and Boston. But it all came from that storefront, Just like, we distribute books, we do Harinam, and we preach, and a devotee is made, or somehow the message goes. So it's like expansion and increasing. You have to leave now? I thought you were going to leave at 8:30. Oh, okay. Well, it's 9 o'clock. What was I just saying? Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Okay, that's right. 26 seconds. An army of devotees could issue forth and chant the names of God in the world with his eyes, seeing way into the future and beyond even the millennium, yet with his feet squarely placed on the ground of 26 Second Avenue. He was starting the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which was starting here with Raphael and Stanley, two kind of wandering homeless guys who Prabhupada let stay in the storefront and would go out and pick up cigarette butts in the cracks of the sidewalks all day, and maybe do other kind of city kind of homeless people activities, and then come back and sleep in the storefront. And they all ended up being marijuana smokers, and they got into a fight with one of the initiated devotees, and Prabhupada asked them to leave. They were two of the original signers. Can you imagine? Why not? Nothing is perfect in the beginning. From imperfection, purity will come about. So following, properly utilizing our body and mind and our life in accord with the various stages and status of life is important contemplation for everyone. But always keep in mind what is the goal. The more that we, by hearing and chanting and associating with those who have already awakened that intense desire, vision, and realization, that can help us to make our honest obligation, in other words, one shouldn't do premature renunciation, more smooth and more rapid. Like Prabhupada describing his spiritual master being a Naishtik brahmachari. The natural course is that one that goes through student life, one goes through married and productive life, then retired life, and ultimately achieve full renounced life. Whereas my spiritual master didn't think it necessary to go through all these stages, and therefore he accepted the sannyasa order of life. So, sannyas, whether formal or informal or perceivable or not, that's ultimately required for everyone to become completely attached to Krishna and his devotional service, and being completely free from all material desires and ambitions in this world. Hare Krishna. In that place, the beautiful Diti expressed her desire. O learned one, Cupid is taking his arrows and distressing me forcibly as a mad elephant troubles a banana tree. Any questions or comments? Hari Bol. Oh, senior or first?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I was thinking about this point, Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam, you were talking about the holy names and, it's full of love for Radha and Krishna, and then just thinking of my own condition, how when I'm chanting, I feel like I have a mouthful of sawdust. It's just dry and there's no taste. So this is one of the how-to questions. How to get taste for chanting Krishna, Hare Krishna? How to...
Well, you're good at distributing books. Maybe you should go out and distribute more books. That might help. Personal contact with the deity is very helpful. And it makes lifelong lasting and even beyond some scars and impressions. Like myself, I can think in my own life, I had friends with Indra when he was here, and then when he left, I would visit him every year in Vrindavan. And he, in the year 1990, he became, by circumstance, the everyday dressing pujari for Radha Shyama. So he brought his retinue of. I remember we came to Mayapur in 2004 for the installation of Panchatattva, and and Indra was like all wrapped up the way he was, even in the warm weather, and one particular senior devotee and his friend said, Lord Shiva and his hordes, So it was me, Nitai, Gopinath, like original devotees on the Kirtan party, dressing with Indra, Radha Shyama and Lalita and Vishaka. I was Lalita Vishaka's dressing pujari. And I got, at the famous devotee Vibhu Chaitanya, who cooked all the offerings for like so many years until he couldn't do it. So, I was also doing the Boga offering for before Sundar Artik, and offering the Sundar Artik to Radha Shyama Sundar. So I was doing that every day for months. And when I came back, I was in Boston at the time. I was so fired up. I got so much taste for that I volunteered. Not only volunteered, but I had to kind of maneuver myself, because the pujaris dressing Radha Gopi Vallabha, they're beautiful. They're of the same caste as Radha Madhava in Mayapur, and there's another set, identical, Radha Gokulananda in Berkeley, California. Dress them every day, or when they have Gaurnitai, one of the original Gaurnitai deities on the Radha Damodar buses. You see there's a picture of Tamal Krishnamaj doing an artik to them in Chicago in 1975, installation on the altar there. So I would do the day dressing. That means I'm giving up 5 to 7 in the morning, japa, to do that, and go out on book distribution all day in Boston. Come back and do the night dressing, which is a 45-minute activity. And I did that for a good number of years, and the impression and the ability or strength to always be above it all is very profound. There was one, he was here at Rathayatra, Sarvopama. He had a beard. I think last year, I don't know, was it this year or last year, Hansrupa said shave the beard off, So he was one of the elite airport book distributors in Chicago. And Indra's there, and he's taking care of Kishore. He said, you got to come and worship. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm a book distributor, And, but Indra, if he fixed his mind on something, and, he wouldn't let off, and he just was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And he did it. He was taking care of the little Radha Krishna deities. And he didn't, and whatever, something happened in his life, this and that, he was kind of away for a while, and then he saw Indra again in Vrindavan so many years later, maybe 2002, 2004, and he thanked him. You forced me to do that, and it saved my life. It's kept me in Krishna consciousness through all the difficulties and troubles. So Krishna, he's come as the deity, and Prabhupada took great trouble and risk in a sense. Like he flew with Vagavan and what was her name? Padmavati? She was from Australia and he's from Sweden. So they flew from the Cross Maidan Pandal, the first big one in April 1971, to, for the first time, Sydney, Australia. And Prabhupada just initiated everybody. Just even some people who were there for like 3 days and gave some first and second initiation. You could look on the Yadubar and Vishakhas following Srila Prabhupada. There's some amazing footage. And what was Prabhupada's prayer to Krishna? That I'm leaving you in the hands of the Malechas. I can't take responsibility. My Lord, you please guide them how to serve you nicely. And then he came back. Harbol Ishan, all the best. See you back here soon. Hare Krishna. Haribol. Thanks. Thank you very much for coming. We told this story. He came back in 1972 and things were going nicely. I told this in a class a while ago. Jayadvaita Maharaj, and he wasn't a sannyasi, and he wasn't, in his own words, like a big gun at the time. Los Angeles visit, 1975 or so, and he got to go on a morning walk with Prabhupada. And you know, you want to say something. If you're going to say something at all, it should be something that Prabhupada would like, and maybe he'll comment, and it'll be something pleasing to him. So you know, you kind of roll the dice with that. Maybe you'll win, maybe you'll lose. You know. So he chose to say, Srila Prabhupada, since you're here in Los Angeles, Shishi Rukmini Dwarkadish, the deities are looking so beautiful. And they were. So Prabhupada was very grave and silent, and he didn't say anything for a considerable period of time. And then he said, yes, that is my anxiety. That I'm here now, and everything is so nice, but how will you maintain after I'm gone? And Prabhupada would say that Vigraha, or what is it, Galabjaha? There's the deity, the worshipful deity, or a similar biphonic sounding word, it rhymes, burden in the neck. That after I leave, you think, oh, our rascal spiritual master has given this big burden. So, and Prabhupada would say that deity worship, maybe not so much for dry sawdust in the mouth, but the cure for Mr. Lust. That personal contact with the deity, taking care of their bodily forms is very, very personal and a completely unique devotional service that doesn't have any similar kind to it. So, take care of the Lord's body, and He'll take care of your body, your spiritual body, by helping you to understand your spiritual body as the more important aspect of yourself than your temporary material body. All right, so we can stop here. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol.
His Grace Ramar Prabhu ki.
Not the Bhargaranga ki. Oh, that's Gopal Champu ki jai. That's Chaitanya? Okay. You all sound, you guys all look alike and sound alike. You're all wearing the same clothes, you know.